Now, quite a few weeks ago, I made a video about the Rokoko Suit, and it was all about the unboxing, how it felt, how easy it was to actually for me to suit up. Now, my perspective is from somebody that had lots of experience over many years on shooting mocap, but I've been thinking about how to break down the Rokoko system, suit and software in a way that makes sense to all of you, especially the beginners, that are people that are interested in the Rokoko system, in buying the Rokoko system. And I actually enlisted my lovely wife to help me out because she knows nothing about motion capture, about suits, how to actually put them on, and much more. So in this video, we are going to set up the suit in the best way possible in the Rokoko software. We're also going to actually find out how long it takes to put the suit on, and we are also going to actually look at the software, the part that actually is behind the scenes, how easy it is. I'm super excited about this video. It's a video that I wanted to do for quite a while now, and I cannot wait to share more with you guys. So without further ado, let's get to it. So this video is sponsored by Rokoko. However, they are seeing this video at the same time as you are, and good or negative is going to be my opinion. They don't have any saying on it, and this is exactly how I like to work, because my goal in this video and every single other video that I do is to be honest with you, the audience. Okay, we're going to start with the physical setup of Rokoko. Now, you saw me unpack the suit from the box and all that stuff before. So this time, what I've done is actually I gave the suit to my wife, and I didn't really tell her exactly how to set up the suit, because there is tutorials online from Rokoko and others on how to actually set up the suit. But for anybody that doesn't know anything about this, most likely you're going to receive the suit and you just want to put it on and find out exactly how it feels. But the suit has a lot of features and a lot of straps on it, right? 5.5 minutes to put it on. However, I didn't really say how to put the suit on. I didn't instruct her or anything. She just put it on, and then we'll see what happens. Now, it took my wife about 5.5 minutes. We actually kind of like timed it for her to get dressed. And this is with her kind of like taking her time. Now, once we actually connected the battery, the suit was on, all the lights were green, and it was really cool. Now, quick note here that my wife mentioned, the suits, as far as I could tell on the website, they are basically one size fit all, and they have different sizes, small, medium, large, and they're supposed to be for everybody. But my wife did note it, and you could see it, that the suit is more inclined towards the male figure than the female figure. However, it will be awesome to have male and female versions of the suit for women that actually want to capture some mocap and feels a little bit more snug. So this was a review, a little note that my wife actually added as she was actually putting on the suit and when she was trying to get the fit on. Now, once all of this was done, it was time to calibrate and get things to work.
How's my head? Oh no, it's because I'm pressing this.
We need to calibrate it. So
like my head is like that.
Yeah. I have to put actors here. There's gonna be Camille. Now, the calibration was very easy. You just very much like just drag your suit that you selected in top of a character that you set up, and then you click the calibration button and then you calibrate. Now, when it comes to the learning curve to actually put on the suit, calibration, and getting going, I think it's incredibly easy, I have to say. This takes, I don't know, 5 minutes, 10 minutes max with experience for you to get it set up. And that actually becomes really easy to basically jump in, capture something, and jump out, which is something that you have to think twice when you go into a volume with motion capture, professional cameras and stuff, because just to set up things take time, and then you have to make sure that your motion and capture and movements are like set up in a certain way. So here it was super straightforward. So the learning curve is really easy. The software is incredibly well done. And once you know what buttons to press and what to do, it becomes really straightforward for you to quickly capture things. Okay, so now that we got this physical setup out of the way, let's talk about the software, right? So installing Rokoko Studio, super easy. If you just Google Rokoko Studio, you'll be able to download it. Now, pairing the suit with the software is the bit that is actually complicated, because initially you have to pick up the suit and you have to plug the suit via USB to a computer, and then you have to make sure that the firmware is up to date. Once again, this is not this like a mocap volume, a mocap space. You only have a certain amount of space that you can capture. It would be awesome if you could capture absolutely everywhere, but there's normally technical limitations to any mocap shoot that you do. And in this case, you need to be close to where your router is. So when it comes to the software setup, the curve to actually learn these things, once again, it's very easy. However, if these technicalities keep popping up, it might become a little bit annoying. But once again, I think it's one of the things that you have to take with a system like this, because there's a lot of sensors, there's a lot of different setups, so nothing is going to be super straightforward. But I do think that Rokoko has aimed here to make it as simple as possible. Now, let's move on to the next chapter, which is going to be shooting mocap. So it's incredibly simple to actually capture mocap. You genuinely, once you actually calibrated and ready to go, you have a button that says record, and you press that button, and then whatever you actually perform, it records. That's what you're gonna do. So 3, 2, 1, recording.
And then what does it do? I don't know. I never watched
And then he starts punching. I never watched the movie. And then you turn into Bruce Lee and you start kicking.
Okay.
Movement freedom is another thing that you have to think about when you actually capture mocap, because suits can be restrictive a lot of the times, especially when you have helmets and weapons and other things on top of you. But except for the battery in front of you, the suit, and I kept asking my wife, the suit felt very comfortable, and I don't think she felt limited in the amount of movements that she wanted to do. She felt free, and it felt like they thought about the breathability of the suit and also how flexible it is. And it doesn't feel like, even if you were to roll around, even if you were to, like, you know, do all kinds of extreme movements, it doesn't feel like it's going to break anytime soon, and that is a massive plus. Now, when it comes to comfort, the day that we shot was really, really hot, unfortunately, here in the UK. So my wife felt discomfort, but it was only because the weather, it was so hot. But I'm pretty sure if you were to actually shoot on a place where you have really good air conditioning and is slightly cooled, I think you can capture for a much longer period of time than we did. So one of the questions that I would ask myself if I was in that situation is, can you realistically capture under an hour? Basically, from the setup to basically starting capturing and finishing capturing, can you actually do it under an hour? Because that's really important. Speed is really important for indies, for AA's, to make sure that you can quickly do it. And I would say 100% Rokoko has it nailed here, because you can absolutely capture something even under 30 minutes. You can just quickly jump in, capture something, and come out. I would say, as a fellow professional, that planning your mocap really well ahead of time, almost like if you actually were to go to a motion capture studio, I think here is also important, because you want to make sure that you use those 30 minutes really, really well in the session that you can, and making sure that you can basically have one capture for maybe a character, right? And squeeze as much of that character as possible, and then set up another capture and then do the same thing. So planning is really important, even here, for sure, so you can get the most bang for buck. Now, once again, for professionals, environmental limitations. For me, what I found is, as Rokoko mentions on their videos and on the website, having a really good router that is close to where you're going to capture is really important. Now, when we were close to the router, we got amazing connectivity. As soon as we move about, I don't know, I want to say 15 to 20 steps away from it, then you immediately get disconnects from the suit, or you start getting jitters on the mocap data. I think for the best results, make sure that your network is dedicated to motion capture and you are as close to the Wi-Fi router as possible. Let's move on to part 3, which is talking about mocap quality and cleanup. Alright, so how clean is the mocap data? And for that, I need to go to the computer right here in front of me to make sure that I can show you the results of what we got. So this is the first scene that we set up, and it was the calibration, and it was very much like looking into like how it looks in motion, in the mocap and the capture. And you can see here that the motion looks absolutely amazing. And when you're capturing it, you're seeing it exactly like this. And there is a few things that I'm missing, but not very much, which is incredible from my perspective, because you have no markers to tell you exactly where things are. You have sensors, and look at the feet and look at the hands as they are moving around. Can you see that the hands, the fingers are actually kind of moving and have actually, like, you know, really good poses as they go through? Even the feet here, you can readjust things if you want to by having this blue markers and green markers to basically be a little bit more pinned. You have like slides like this, right? You can see it on the green foot, but overall it's really good. Same thing here when you twist like this. And if you were to do this in a professional motion capture studio that costs millions of dollars or pounds, this movement always will have some type of intersection, right? So what you get from motion capture studios at the end is normally slightly cleaned up by the motion capture studio itself. So when you go and pay the big bucks to actually have motion capture, normally what comes back to you is normally there's a technician behind the scenes cleaning up small things, imperfections like this, right? When things twist and go off, right? So you're always going to have these things to actually clean up. But overall, as an animator, I'm looking at this. I can 100% clean up this with no problem. Now, one of the things that I realized after seeing the data here is the pelvis versus the feet. Because when I was looking at it in real life, like live when they were actually doing this, they actually had like the pelvis and feet were very much on top of each other. But looking at the data after the fact, I can tell that basically, like, sometimes in some movements, the pelvis is slightly ahead of the feet or slightly away from the feet, and it kind of creates this unbalanced for the character, which is another thing that I found. But overall, I think it's really minor. It's really easy for you to put a layer on top and rectify that. It's really easy. Even if I were to export the data exactly as it is like that, it would take me maybe 5 to 10 minutes to clean up this data to an acceptable level, like small things like this, maybe 15 minutes. And that's a massive win to actually have anything under half an hour that is basically a suit that is, you know, like with sensors. It's incredible. So happy with the data that we have. Now, a lot of studios and a lot of people, when they hear this is going to be mocap, they think speed immediately, right? So if it's going to be mocap, it's going to be much easier, and we're going to get animations in games so much easier. That is not 100% true, because if you have dirty mocap data and there's lots of jitter and twisting and all that stuff, you might as well just hand key it, because that would be faster than cleaning up the raw mocap data that is there. So the data plus time equals how good the mocap is and how fast that transition in the game is. Okay, so who is this suit best suited for? Now, I think for AAA studios that are looking for a quick pickup shoot, I think giving a few of these suits to your team, 1, 2, 3, will be perfect, because if they actually want to quickly jump in the suit and capture some mocap perhaps they haven't captured on your big AAA studio, then this will be perfect, especially if you don't have your own mocap studio. And I think for middle-sized studios that are looking for a balance between speed and quality, I think this is perfect, right in between, bang on the middle. And I think AA studios will be able to afford this type of mocap much more than going to like a massive studio that costs a bunch. Indie studios looking for a flexible, portable solution that basically you can go anywhere and shoot. I can actually see if you're actually an indie studio and actually want to basically go somewhere to actually capture some stuff with some actors, just take the suit with you, or a few suits with you, and go to where the actors were, LA, I don't know, California, Poland, whatever, and then basically just give them the suits and say, okay, go, shoot. And also freelancers and small indie devs that perhaps are just the one indie dev. If you can afford it, once again, this is not cheap, but if you can afford it, I think this is the fastest route for you to get your animations into a game as polished as possible, especially if you have the correct setup for Rokoko. I think this is actually a lot of bang for buck for what you get. Trust me when I say this, that like when you see the amounts of money that these studios actually spend capturing mocap, it's eye-watering. And this, in comparison, is incredibly small. So I think even though it looks expensive on paper to a lot of people out there, it's a lot of value for money for what you get. My recap and honest verdict is that this, for the right studio, in the right environment, if you are looking for the best animations possible and the best trade-off between price, speed, and quality, I think Rokoko is actually at a specific level that would actually make you have your games have really good quality animation for very little money. Now, this is all, and I hope you found it useful. Now, if you're considering buying one of these suits, Rokoko suits, use the link down below because it will give you a massive discount. Plus, I'll get some kickback as well, which then helps the channel as well, which I'll be very thankful for. But most importantly, once you use the suit, once you get going, leave comments down below and let me know of good experiences, bad experiences, any limitations, because as you can tell, I still have to try a bunch of stuff. I've tried this in different studios and I'm now trying it personally for myself and for my studio. So if you have any stories, leave them down below because you help people wanting to buy it as well. And you know, there's nothing like the power of community in order to share the word of good or bad when it comes to these things. Now, if you enjoyed this video and it was useful to you, you know what to do. And until the next one, stay well, stay safe. Peace. A round of applause for the actor here.
Thank you.
If you enjoyed the video or found it helpful, go ahead and hit the like button. If you super enjoyed it, leave a super thanks. It's like leaving a little tip and it directly supports the channel. If you haven't already, subscribe and turn on post notifications so you can continue to see my videos and get your weekly dose of betterness.